From Homedale to Salmon River, District 3 has several teams that don't always get their due. Stepping outside the shadows of the SIC, this is the Treasure Valley Prepcast with Logan Green.
Oh yeah, what's going on? We are back from spring break. It's another edition of the Treasure Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, breaking down everything in districts. District 3 in 3A, 2A, and 1A across the state of Idaho. You can tell I'm still in spring break mode. Brandon Baney with Logan Green as always. Logan, how you doing?
Good, man. And, my kids are on spring break right now. So, they're running around the house, and school's nice sometimes, right? When they're at school. But no, it's just kidding. But it's warm over here right now. I live in Middleton, and my kids are playing outside. They got a little water table. It's supposed to be in the 70s today. I'll take it. And, it's great baseball weather, right?
Oh, no doubt. That's the one area of the state that's actually been able to really get off and running, as is the case most of the time. As we talk about spring sports, first of all, these prepcasts are probably going to be a little shorter. There's just, there's less going on in terms of fan excitement. Like for football and basketball, there's so much in wrestling. There's in the fall sports, so much to talk about, right? In spring sports, I feel like everybody kind of splits off and does their own thing. The track and field diehards are in track and field. The tennis diehards are in tennis. There's not that collective, oh, hey, let's check in on everything that's going on, right?
Right. Yeah, so, and it's set up to be big. You're right, Brandon. I think everybody has their niche that they like, and you see a lot of athletes that play basketball or football branch off into different sports here. I know some kids here in Middleton that play in a football team that are on the tennis team, right? And they focus on tennis and don't know what's going on. It's definitely a different environment during the spring season. Just there's so many things going on that people are involved in. There's almost too much to keep up on, so people just focus on one thing.
Yes, for sure. So what we're going to do is probably pick one or two big stories from the entire spring sports landscape. So there will be weeks where we're not covering every single spring sport, but throughout the course of the season, we'll hit every sport several times. So it'll be a little bit shorter, couple of big stories, and we'll see how that goes. But I think the biggest story from last week, Logan, was the annual Bill Betts baseball tournament that's kind of co-hosted by both Fruitland and Payette. Both of these schools do a great job co-hosting this event every year, and some interesting results. This was a 2-day tournament. Here were the scores. On Friday, you had Marsing beat Melba 9-2. You had Firth beat Weiser 11-6. And then you had Melba defeat New Plymouth 7-4, and Sugar Salem beat Weiser 8-5. And then as we moved into the second day of competition, Firth beat Payette 17-5. So Payette 0-2. You had Sugar Salem beat Payette 7-2. You had Fruitland just get past Firth 11-10. Weiser beat New Plymouth 11-3. Marsing got a second win over New Plymouth 9-8. Melba beat Fruitland 22-9. There were some interesting results from this little 2-day tournament, Logan.
Yep. Marsing is 7-0 right now. Like they might be the surprise, right? Of everybody, right? They're just slowly sneaking around and all of a sudden hanging there undefeated. And I tell you, the 2A WIC might be the best baseball conference in the state. Like you said, for Marsing to come in there and to play as well as they did, I don't think anybody expected that. I don't think anybody expected them to come in and turn heads like that. I think that's the biggest takeaway from the day. Well, there's a couple takeaways. If you take away that, you could take away that Weiser, right? They're the defending state champs. It was kind of a Cinderella run for them last year. They weren't really expected to win the state championship last year, but came in and come away with a couple of wins to get it done. And then Fruitland, Fruitland's a very good program too, and kind of got overshadowed. I guess that's what I'll say, is that Weiser and Fruitland maybe a little overshadowed by some of the performances by other teams, like a Marsing.
Yeah, it's pretty clear the 2As are a step ahead of the 3As right now in terms of we saw the results bear out at that Bill Betts tournament. So
Yeah, I mean, you look so far. Weezer's 3-3. They got a target on their back. They're the state champs, but we'll see how it shakes out. A lot of season left to play, right? You're early on, just getting started. So we'll see how it shakes out. But if you look as well, some other 3A games that were going on at the time, look just down the road in Parma. They played a couple of Oregon schools last week, and the Panthers are 5-2 right now. They were 4-20 last year. So that's a phenomenal start for Parma to be 5-2 after a rough season last year. We'll see. Maybe they lose 20 straight. I don't know. It's not going to happen. But definitely a better season for Parma. And they're sitting in first right now, right? For overall records, right? There hasn't been a ton of conference games going on so far, but overall record 5-2 is the best in the 3A SRV. So look at, there could be a huge shakeup, right? Could you see Parma come out on top and maybe even Weezer not make it in? It's kind of interesting to look at it to say what could happen this year in the district.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see all of those 3A results. And for Parma, I think all the credit goes to Will Henneke coaching that JV program. He's gotten these guys whipped into shape, and they're all now graduated to the varsity, right?
That's right. They were just waiting for their chance to come up and show what they learned at JV.
Yeah, of course. Will Henneke, great friend of the program, great friend and broadcaster here at IdahoSports.com, and also helps coach Parma baseball, not just in the spring, but the Legion program in the summer as well. Melba went 2-1 at the Bill Betts tournament. The only loss was to Marsing, and then they had a couple of huge wins. They beat Fruitland 22-8, which really opened my eyes. And check out this pitching performance from Trace Stimson. So Melba, the big question with them was, how are you going to replace Henry Clark? He was like Shohei Ohtani last year. He would have multiple double-digit strikeout games on the mound, and then he'd turn around the next night and, hit 2 home runs. I mean, it was insane. He was such a good two-way player. And the big question was, how do you replace that? And you don't replace it with one guy, you replace it with several. And Trace Stimson on the mound, look at this line. He went the complete game against Fruitland, 7 innings. He only walked 2 batters, and he only gave up 1 hit, and he struck out 11. That's impressive.
Oh, yeah. That's a great game right there. And, he's going to have to replicate that the rest of the season. Melba play. I think this 2A WIC is the best conference at the 2A level. They've just been dominant over the years, and he is going to have to step up. Somebody's got to step up for Melba if anybody wants to have a chance with, the elephant in the room, which is Nampa Christian, right? That baseball program is phenomenal. Brandon, look at this. Here's I'm going to read it out. These are the state champions since 2010 in 2A, right? So 2021, Nampa Christian. 2020, no one won it. So here's the thing. Nampa Christian was 3-0 in 2020 before COVID shut everything down. So technically they haven't lost, right? They've had 2 straight undefeated years. I mean, I'm stretching there, but they did, 2019, Melba won it, right? So another conference opponent. And then 2018, 17, 16, 15, all Nampa Christian. So they won 6 of the last 7 awarded trophies. And then after that, in 2013, 2014, they were in the state championship. 2012, they finished second. 2011, they were consolation. And 2010, they finished second. So we haven't seen one time in the past 12 years have we seen a season without Nampa Christian in the semifinals. I don't know of we talk about the lapways of basketball at the 1A level. You talk about Sugar Salem, but is there a more dominant program in the state right now than Nampa Christian's baseball? Like over the past decade? I don't know. I mean, there might be somewhere out there, but my goodness, it's tough.
That's very impressive what Nampa Christian has been able to do. And I think immediately to who was pitching in that championship game last year or in the tournament and was their best pitcher, Carson Atwood. And he's back.
Yeah.
And he's like 6'6". He's just such a tough pitcher to hit.
He had 50 innings pitched last year, only gave up 19 earned runs, had 88 strikeouts. So It's like, well, I don't know the exact math. You look at that, he's going to sit down, at least one per inning, possibly two on average, right? He's going to sit them down. It's crazy. Just phenomenal stats. And he batted 373 last year as well for Nampa Christian. Really, you look at their team, they returned basically everybody. They lost one guy from that team a year ago. Everybody's back. And you look at these batting numbers. Dane Bradshaw hit 390 a year ago. Zach Merritt, 449. Landon Chaney, 592. Zach Mullins was at 440. Josh, is it Tiersma? Tiersma, 458. That's murderer's row right there. It's incredible that those guys were all juniors and they're back. They are loaded this year.
That's what I love about 2A baseball too, because all those names you just rattled off, they all played football.
Yep.
Most of them played basketball. It's not like the 5A, 4A's where you've got baseball only.
Different names. Yeah, it's the same names.
And
no, it's great.
What a year they've had. State playoffs in football, state play-in game for basketball, and championship or bust for baseball probably.
Yeah, I mean they've had a great year. You look at it, could this be the best year for them? Sport like just off of performance, right? Really no trophies to take home. So I mean, you can judge that off of, you can say that's success, but what are they? Quarterfinals, semifinals, something like that for football. They made it. They won their first game. They showed up. They won the conference, right? A great season for them there. And basketball team was right. That was just a tough conference. I mean, Melba obviously won the state championship. Ambrose was probably the second best team in the state, and they just happened to meet in the first round. I mean, Melba blew through the rest of everybody else, and Nampa Christian hung around with them all year in basketball. It's just been a dominating conference this year, I think. Just tons of great athletes, and this baseball season's no different for the 2A WIC.
Definitely. And not only is Nampa Christian excelling in baseball, but softball too. Check out last week, Nampa Christian's softball team played Fruitland and won 30-12. In the win, Nampa Christian drew 25 walks, 25 walks in one game. That's insane.
Yeah, I would love to know how many walks did that directly lead to runs. It had to have been multiple bases loaded walks, right? When you have 25, there's not much room to fit those in without that situation occurring. What a heck of a great job watching the ball. I know my kid, he's three pitches and he's done. It's tough to not swing. You want to swing, you want to knock it out. That's a lot of patience to sit and wait. And does anybody want to win a game where you draw that many? No, but you don't want to swing at it either. So it's harder than it sounds. It's very disciplined to sit there and not just say, I'm going to try for it. That's tough to do.
Yeah, it's a sign of a well-coached team, that's for sure. So that's kind of our first look at what's going on in baseball and softball in the Treasure Valley. Every other sport off and running as well, and we'll check in with a few more big stories next week on the Treasure Valley Prepcast. Logan, enjoy the nice weather. I'm very jealous. It's still kind of snowing / raining where I live, so I hate it.
Yeah, that's what. It's tough. It's tough to live over there on that side. I mean, I've done it. I've lived in every little corner. I've lived in East Idaho. I've lived in North Idaho, and now I live down in Treasure Valley. And each one has its perks, but each one also has its negatives. And I think the long winter. If you don't like winter, then it's. If you love winter, then great. East Idaho's terrific. But one of the perks I enjoy about this side is a 70-degree March day.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, we'll check back in with a couple more spring sports stories. And hey, if there's a particular team or athlete or story you want us to highlight, send us an email, Brandon@IdahoSports.com, Logan@IdahoSports.com, or you can hit us on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. We're all over the place. So that is the best way to get to us so we can get those stories out there. So
yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to know what we should be looking at. If there's something that we don't know about, it's hard. Like you said, Brandon, I mean, there's tennis, softball, lacrosse, baseball. There's so much going on right now. And some stuff might get hidden that needs to be brought to light. So please let us know so we can give it the coverage that it needs to get.
Definitely. All right. Well, thanks for tuning into the Treasure Valley Prepcast. For Logan Green, I'm Brandon Baney, and we'll see you next time on IdahoSports.com.